Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be doing something fairly simple. So the previous video, I believe we went and we fixed the positioning of the cube whenever we launched a new level into the scene, the game scene. But today we're going to take a step back just because I don't feel like doing anything complicated today. So today we are just going to be working on our main starting screen for the game. So I don't know. I feel like I mentioned this, but I can't remember properly. But what I want the main scene or main menu of the game to be is it's going to start off with level 1, but it's going to be like a zoomed out version of level 1. So we will have level 1 in the background, kind of slowly rotating around, and then when we go and press, there'll be a button on the main screen that says play the game and start on level 1 or something along those lines. But when we go and press that button, we want the camera to actually like zoom into the game so that you can start playing the game. But when we go, or when the game launches first into the menu scene, we are not going to allow the player to move the cube because we won't be in a menu scene, but we will still be in the game scene. So let's go and start trying to work on that. I'll try and explain it a little bit better now using the actual scene of the game. So here we have, where is it? Let's just play the game so we get a level into the scene. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to zoom out. So let's try and position our camera where we want this to be. So for example, this is where we have our, okay, so take this for example. Here's our game scene. Now imagine, let's take our camera and let's zoom it out a little bit. Where's our camera? Okay, so here's our camera, which is not that one. Put that back. I think it's the x-axis. Nope. Y-axis. Okay, so let's try to do this. So this is where the camera will zoom into when you go and press the button. But when we start the game off, we want this to be probably something like this, kind of rotating in the background. Where's our rotate camera center point? So if this is what we want, and then when we go and press the play game button, it's going to, the camera will, I believe that was 10. Oh no, it wasn't. It will move all the way back into this position, if that makes sense. So we're going to try and implement that. Don't know how far we'll get, but let's give it a go. So first things first, we need to create another panel on top of our game scene that will house all of our start game components. So we are going to create another empty object in our canvas. Or actually, let's not do that. Let's create another UI panel. We don't really need a game object, so we'll create an empty panel, and then we'll go fill it up with titles and buttons and everything we need. So we will work in our scene view now. So let's go and focus on 2D. Focus on our panel. And then, where is it? Over here. So here's our panel, and we want to be able to see the background of our, not the background, but we want to be able to see our game. So let's go and make it that color. We can still see our game in the background. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker just because we want to know that we're on a different scene. So we'll make it a little bit darker. Change the alpha value to, let's say, about 150 maybe. That seems fine. And then I'm just going to go play the game quickly and see what that looks like. So here you can see that our panel is on top of our game. We can still play the game because we haven't restricted anything yet. But what's this doing? Okay, I don't think that's important for now. But let's go and put this in here so we can focus on our, what's it called, on our scene. So on our panel, let's rename this to start game panel. And then on this panel, we want to put in a title. So UI text, do we need to, no, we don't need to import that because we've used it for our move count. So on our text, we need to change this. First of all, it needs to be a lot bigger than what it is. So let's make it about 100. That's way too small. We will make it about 400, and then we need to change the size of the box. So let's make it bigger, something like that. Much bigger. We could just change the height over here. Let's do that. Let's make it, is that 800 now? So let's just make it 800 on the dot, and then this will be 2500. And then let's go and center it both horizontally and vertically. I'm going to change the height to about 500. That's fine. And then let's change the text to actually to spell out the name of the game, which by the looks of it is just game. But we are going to call this Cube Quest for now. We might change it to like Cube Maze or something. I don't know. We'll come up with a nicer name later. But I'm going to change this to capitals just to see what it looks like. Cube. What am I doing? Cube Quest. Can't spell. Okay, so that's a little bit big. I'm going to change the width to 3000 just because it will fit. And then we will move it to the top. And then we also need to move it to the middle somewhere. Why can't I move this? We'll go align it in the middle at the top. And then we'll just move it slightly down, probably to about there somewhere. So I do want to change that because that looks terrible. But it's not important for now. For now, let's just try and get it to actually work with a few buttons. So on our text, we're going to rename this to title. Or let's say game title. Game title, game name label, because that makes more sense. And then what else do we need? We need a button. So let's create another, or a new UI button, which is, where's button? There it is. Why does it have to make it so small? I don't understand. So we'll make that bigger. Put that in the middle. That's what I was trying to do with the text. Move it around like that. So there's our first button. So this is going to be, what are we going to call this? This will be play for now. We'll make this one play. So play game. Make that about 100. Actually, let's make it smaller, about 80. Make it bold. And then we can change the color of the button to, nope. We can change the color of the button, which is here. Well, that's the text rather. So the text will leave white, and then for the actual button, we'll change the color of the background to, no, we can't use black because you won't really see that in the actual game. Actually, I kind of like it without any background. Well, let's play it quickly and see what happens. We might get like a hover effect. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, so we'll leave that like that because that kind of looks cool. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's good for now. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. And then make the text bigger as well. So 80, we'll change that back to 100. Cool, that's fine. The reason I don't like that is because it's got a black background and the background of the game is also black. You can't really see the maze at the background, and it's going to hide everything that's behind it because it's not transparent. So we might, can you actually change the value of that? Let's see. Okay, you can. So we'll do that. So now that we don't have a transparent background, we will be able to see the maze at the back or whatever's happening in the back. So let's go and give us some rotation. So this is kind of what I want the main menu to look like, only just zoomed out a little bit, which we'll try and do just now. But we'll add in another, actually, you know what, we'll leave it like this, and let's go start working on the functionality of it. So we'll add a on-click event. Actually, do we have a manager that we can use to control a button? So managers here, we have UI manager. Yeah, we'll do it in our UI manager. So let's go and edit our script just so we can keep all our UI elements in the same script. So on our UI manager, let's just bring our script into here. So here is our script. If I drag this here, make these full screen so we can turn into each other. Okay, so here is our UI manager. So now we need a reference to a new method. So this is going to be a public, so we can access it with our button, and it's going to be public void. This is going to be play game. So this is going to be the method that zooms our camera into our first level and then allows our player to move the cube, because we'll disable that as well. So play game is going to be, for now we'll just say print play game. So we'll save that. I don't know why that arrow is there, but anyway, let's go and now hook that up. So on our start game panel, we can add an on-click event here by clicking plus and then dragging in our UI manager script or game object onto there. And now let's choose our play game method. So let's try and see if this works. So hopefully we get a message, which we do get, gets printed into our console. So that's good news. So now we need to try and work on figuring out where we want the game to start off. Okay, so let's start the game and then pause it. Actually, we don't need to pause it, but let's go and add some rotation to the game. So now we need to figure out where we want our camera to be as a starting point. So I'm going to write this. Actually, let's just go and do this in our UI manager. So here, this, just for now, we probably won't keep this in here. Actually, we'll do it in a global class here so that we don't have to change it. So open that up, and then here we can create a public static vector 3. This is going to be our gameplay camera position, and then we will go and set this, so that's going to be equal to a new vector. What am I doing? New vector 3, and then we just want to copy those values, so it's 0, 10, and minus 10. 0, 10, and minus 10. That's going to be our camera position, which is this exact position that we're going to zoom into. And now we need to figure out where we want our camera to start off with. So I think this was about 20, and this was about minus 15. What happens if we go minus 20, minus 18, minus 17? No, that's minus 14, minus 17, minus 16. Okay, so we'll put it at minus 16. So y is 20 and z is minus 16. So let's just go and fill those in. 20 and minus 16. Okay, so we'll leave that like that in the actual inspector, because that is where our game's going to start off. And then when we go and press the play game, we are going to zoom into the previous position that we had. So when we start the game, I'm going to check that so that we have got out this rotation, which kind of looks cool. And then when we go and press play, we now need to figure out how we're going to get the camera to zoom into that position and not just suddenly appear at the position. So what we need to do is we need to go to Google and say, what do we need to say? Unity move. Let's bring this in here so you can see. So we're going to move from Unity move camera to position. How to smoothly move my camera to a set position. So that's exactly what we want. Okay, so there are many ways to achieve this. Here is a way to do it. Add a script to your camera and simply make it lerp. So yeah, I thought lerp was it. So let's just copy this line, copy that and paste it into, I believe it is our UI manager. And instead of printing this, instead of printing that message, we are going to move it. So let's go back to here and see what this is. So create an empty game object and assign it in inspector end marker. So I believe maybe that might be the position that it moves to. You could also use itween from asset store. What does that mean? Oh, that's probably like a downloadable plugin or something like that. But let's go and try and implement this in our game. So we will leave that and then let's figure out what this is. So this is going to be transform.position, and then this, I believe this is going to be our global, if I can spell it correctly, global dot gameplay camera position. So it's going to move from the current position to the position we want it to move in. But this transform.position is going to get the position of our UI manager, which is not what we want. So we need to get the position of our camera. So let's go and use our tag. So this, let's go and say var cam position cam. Let's just make it camera position is going to be equal to game object dot find object with tag, and then this will be global dot camera tag. We'll make that now, and then this will be dot transform dot position. So that way we can simply go and pop our camera position straight into there. Okay, so let's go and create this camera tag. So here we will make a public static read only string. Also camera tag is going to be equal to, I believe it's main camera. Okay, so let's just double check that. Okay, so it is main camera. The M and the C are both capital. All right, so let's save all of that. Let's just make sure that that is not, what did I spell incorrectly? Hello. That's supposed to be a small c. Okay, so we'll save that, and then let's go and press play, and hopefully we get some movement, which we do not. All right, so let's go and see UI manager, what's happening. So I am going to go and print our camera position just so that I can see if this is actually being read correctly once we press play. Okay, so our camera position is at -2. Where is it? No, it's not. Main camera. Okay, so it's moving, which is It's doing something. So it's moving from minus on the x-axis. It's moving from -2 all the way up to 14. Which, let's see, is that where we wanted to go to? No, we wanted to go to 0. And then the y value is staying the same. Maybe I've just got this function wrong. So let's go to Unity lerp. Let's go to the documentation and see what's happening here. So let's see. A start value returned, okay, an end value. So we want to go from the start value to the end value. Value used to interpolate between A and B. Okay, so let's go and do this. So we'll go out of that, and then where were we? In our UI manager. I'm going to times this by a high number just so we can see if anything is happening. So let's go and say 10. And let's just go see if that makes any difference to our game. No, it doesn't, but we can see that our position of the camera is not changing when we press play game. But this is changing. Where is this going? Camera center point. Maybe that's got something to do with it. So let's see. Okay, so that is... If I pause that, okay, so that does stop rotating. But why is that changing? That shouldn't be changing at all. Actually, should it? Actually, yeah, it should be changing because it's going round and round. So it should go to... Should go right round and then go back up and then right round again. Let's just watch that quick because I'm kind of curious now. So it gets to 0, okay, then it goes back up. It should get to about 360, I believe. Or was it 180? Bear with me while we figure this out. 160, 170, 180. Okay, so it does... Okay, so it keeps looping because this is rotating right round. Okay, so that's fine, that makes sense. So we need to figure out why our camera is not really moving from one place to the other. Okay, so that times 10 clearly didn't do anything, so we'll get rid of that. And then... Oh, okay, I know why it's not working. Okay, so we need to camera position. Let's go and get rid of this. And this is going to just be our camera. So that's going to find our camera. And then this is going to be camera is equal to camera.transform.position is going to be equal to our camera.transform.position. So we'll start at where it is and then go up to our new position. So let's try this again and see. We should get some, now we should get some kind of movement. Okay, so we did get some kind of movement, but clearly not the kind of movement we wanted. So I'm going to just times this by a factor of 10 just to see if we get any quick movement. So let's play the game and now press play. Okay, so you can see that every time we press play, we get some movement. Where do we want it to go? We want it to go to 0, 10, and -10. It is currently at 0, 15, -11. Okay, so if we press play, it goes to... Okay. So it's kind of working, just not how we thought it was going to work. So let's see, it starts at where it was, 0, 20 and minus 16. If we press it once, it goes to 0, 19, which is weird. Why is it going to 19? Okay, that's strange. So we need to try and figure that out in the next episode. Now I'm just playing around. I should probably stop before I break anything else. So we'll save that just in case we get a not responding and lose everything. Okay, so in the next episode, we will go and try and figure out why or how to fix the movement of the camera into the correct position. Into we also want it to be like a nice smooth movement, so we're going to figure out that. I'll do some research over the weekend and see how to fix that. But that's it for today's episode. So hopefully this is something new to you. It's also new to me, as you can see. We struggle to do that, but we're learning as we go along. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So thanks again for watching. If you made this far, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys next episode on Monday. Enjoy the weekend and goodbye.